Hi there, Frank Thacker here, and welcome to the Daily Peacemaker. And if you're listening on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like button and any of the other platforms. If they have something similar, you might want to do that also. So, let me read you this quote from someone who is known as a great teacher of peace, a great practitioner of peace. And the quote is, and this is a quote from this great peace lover, peace practicer, creator of peace. It says, "Do not think that I have come to bring peace on earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword." So it's like, whoa, wait a minute. What is that all about? You think of sword, or when I think of sword, you think of some kind of power tool or violence, or something you're going to chop someone up or something. And I have heard this quote, read it many times over the life of my life. And I read it, I was reading an article last week, and this was the quote in it, part of it. And then that Sunday, the gospel from which this comes from, the person that is quoted as saying this is, as many of you probably know when you heard it, is Jesus of Nazareth, Jesus Christ, some people say. So on Sundays, the Catholic Church, reads part of the gospel. So I had read this in an article a week ago, and then Sunday, last Sunday, there it was in the gospel. So it was like, ooh, Frank, maybe you better take a look at this, because in the past I'd read it and not pay much attention to it and stuff, kind of slough it off. But when you read that, it's like, ooh, what does that really mean? I have not come, do not think that I have come to bring peace on earth. And this is from Jesus, who many consider a great preacher of peace, a great practitioner of peace, one of the most peaceful people to walk the face of the earth. So I haven't come to bring peace, I've come to bring a sword. So I started researching, reading different things, talking to people about it, thinking about it myself. And one of the perspectives I came away with is when people talk about peace and, oh yeah, I love peace, I really want things to be peaceful, I want a peaceful world, which is good, obviously. But I think often what they're really talking about is they want things to be quiet. Let's everybody be calm. Let's quiet down here. Let's take things in stride. Everything's going to be good. All that kind of focus on keeping things quiet, peaceful, running smoothly, those types of things. And I kind of personally fall into that category sometimes. I don't know if people are familiar with a thing called the Enneagram. It's Enneagram. It's based on an old Sufi spiritual practice, and it helps you identify what type of person you are, for lack of a better word. And there are 9 different types, categories, and I'm what they call a 9, which is also called a peacemaker. But the danger there is, and I know this from personal experience, I'm so into peace that I tend to let things slide that maybe I shouldn't. I kind of sweep under the carpet type of thing, because I want things to stay peaceful, calm, serene, everything's good. So I have to guard against that. And I think many people, when they talk about peace and how they love peace, they're talking about that particular, their particular focus is one of keeping things peaceful. So when Jesus says, I've come not to bring peace in that sense, but I've come to bring peace in the sense of you might have to cause some division. That's often, instead of sword, they often say, he's quoted as saying, I've not come to bring peace, but division. And kind of what that means is if you're going to create, or we're going to create a culture of peace, at some point, we might have to use, for lack of better words, it's a metaphor, a sword. We might have to confront the powers that be, and that's going to cause some division, some conflict. And we're not doing that to create a division, but it might, as the gospel goes on, it rambles a little bit. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword, the division, father against son, mother-in-law against daughter-in-law, those types of things, brother against sister. It's not that that's what we're trying to do, but given that we're trying to write a incorrect solution, it might cause people to turn against us. Thus, there's division. Excuse me for a minute. So if you're going to be about creating a culture of peace, you might at times have to use your sword, which doesn't mean you go around, using it in a violent way, but in a sharp way, where you're causing, challenging people. This is unjust. Martin Luther King did a lot of that, where his behaviors and his group would confront what they saw as unjust laws, and they sacrificed a lot to do that. So it takes a lot of courage to do it, and it can happen on an individual life where, say, you're feeling cheated by someone or abused. In order to keep the peace, you might sweep a lot of that under the rug and just accept it and say, yeah, everything's good. But at some point, you might need to confront them. And in doing that, it might cause a division between you and them. So it's I'm going to say nebulous, but it's a different focus. So there's peace, and there's creating peace. And when you are about creating a culture of peace, you might have to, as Jesus said, bring the sword. You might have to cause, not cause, that's not the right. Your actions may cause some division. Not that that's what you're trying to do, but that may happen. So it's a very startling quote when Jesus, this great peacemaker, says, "Hey, I haven't come to bring peace on earth. I've come to bring a sword or a division." Which what I think he's really saying is, if we're going to have peace, we're going to have to at first right some injustices, and that's going to cause division. It's going to call for some sharp action, some sharp words in terms of very clear-cut words. So it's a different shift than peace. I want peace. Yeah, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to go about creating this culture of peace that we say we want? I have an example that might help, and I might have alluded to this in other podcasts. And this happened about 50 years ago. So I was going to school with a friend, and it was, 50 miles away. And so we would alternate driving. He would drive one week, I would drive another week. So we're driving up there one day, and he's driving, and I had a candy bar. I was chewing a candy bar. I get down with that, I roll down the window, and I threw the wrapper out the window. Boom! Didn't stop. Pulls over the side of the road quickly. And he looks at me, he says, "If you ever do that again in this car, you'll never be riding in this car with me again. It's like, whoo, wow, man. And he didn't say it like angry, he was like sharp. It's like a sword, if you will, with his words, clear cut, if you will. And it really woke me up. I know it's hard to believe that I was doing those things, but I was. I don't do them anymore. So I learned my lesson. But it was one of those things where, yeah, I could have. It could have caused division. I could have said, well, the heck with you. Take me here, and I don't care if I don't ever ride with you again. I don't even care if I ever see you again. You're going to treat me like that. But it had the opposite effect. It really woke me up. So when we bring our sword to the culture in terms of trying to right injustices, trying to correct behavior that someone might be using against us, or behavior that we think is maybe not good for creation, then we might have to bring out our sword and deal with it. And again, it could cause some division. So the point is, if you want peace, they always say, if you want peace, work for justice, and that will cause, or could cause, some division, either on a personal level where it's about a relationship, or on a larger issue around some injustices that you are demonstrating against, or working against, or challenging. It could cause some division. So it's not an easy thing, trying to create a culture of peace. But I think it, I believe that it can be done. But it takes, I think, a lot of work from ordinary people like you and I. So get your sword ready. Get those, that strength. There's a lot of strength in a sword. So, carry your sword of nonviolent, creating a culture of peace. Get that ready to use. And don't be afraid to use it. You can use it in a very nonviolent way, which kind of flips back to that principle of the third principle of King of Nonviolence, where you attack, is the word they use often, the behaviors, not the person. It's a profound difference there, if you can understand that. So when my friend said to me about throwing the wraparound, he didn't call me a jerk. You jerk, don't ever do that again, or what the hell's the matter with you, or whatever. He focused on the behavior. If you do that again, then these are the consequences. So it was I think that's a really clear example. And you can use it in personal conflicts or against more global issues. So I hope that enlightens, that's a big word, I hope that helps you understand what Jesus was saying when he said, I do not think I've come to bring peace on earth, which is, calmness and everything's cool, and, sweep it under the rug, don't cause problems. He said, I have not come to bring peace, but a sword. And there's this John Lewis, who was part of Martin Luther King's group way back when, and then was a U.S. Senator or a rep, I think. He coined it, well, I don't know if he coined it, but he used it a lot, causing good trouble, which is something you might have to do as you attempt to create a culture of peace. So with that in mind, let me end with a little saying. This is some Native American prayers for peace. So I'm going to change this a little bit. It says, I'm going to change it. Let us create a culture of peace. For as long as the moon shall rise, for as long as the rivers shall flow, for as long as the sun shall shine, for as long as the grass shall grow, let us be about creating a culture of peace. All right, well, thanks for listening. As always, any comments or questions or insights, let us know, dailypeacemaker.com. So thanks for your time, and carry your sword lightly but powerfully. You all take care. Peace.